Kia ora, I'm Andrew Hornblow. I was president of the Society in the 81 year, and one of the highlights of that period really was the passing in Parliament of the Psychologists Registration Act. And perhaps talking about that might be useful just to go back a bit in terms of the history of psychology in New Zealand. The beginnings of professional psychology probably date from around about World War II. There had been teaching in psychology, often under the umbrella of philosophy in the universities, but around about World War II we had the beginnings of professional practice with units in a number of government departments, with DSIR, with corrections, with the education department and so on. And the academic departments of psychology tended to then develop across the country in around about the 1950s. By the time I was president in 81, the membership of the society was around about 600 by the end of 1981, and about half that number were in practice. They were in the main working for the education department or for hospital boards. The other half were in university roles and teaching and so on. So the issue had come up really as to whether registration should be pursued, and the society debated this for a number of years, off and on. And over the 3 years that Council was based in Christchurch at that time, I followed Anne Ballin and John Small, and the registration issue came to the fore. Ralph Unger, who was the chief psychologist for the Ministry of Health and ran the psychology department at Sunnyside, he had chaired the committee that was convened to look at the registration issue, and he was also on the interdepartmental committee that worked across departments to ensure that their stake in registration was respected. So registration came in the end in July 81, and that was a milestone, I think. There were mixed views about it among members of the society. A lot of academics, I think, wondered really if it was relevant for them. But certainly those who were in practice felt that it was an important step, and I think that's been shown to be the case. The numbers, as I say, were around about 600 at that point, and the society was in good heart, and really I think looking to the future, we are able, I think, to see a number of ways in which psychology and psychological practice has broadened out. I'm a bit of a maverick in the sense that I moved from clinical psychology, which was my basic training, into public health. And as for a number of other psychologists have moved into roles certainly beyond the ones for which I was trained. I ended up as chairing government commissions and Crown entities, ALAC and the Health Workforce Committee, and was the first non-medical person to be dean of a medical school in New Zealand. So I think my encouragement that I'd want to give to young psychologists is look where the need is and look where the needs are that can be met. Don't be afraid to use your skills to move beyond the specific areas in which you may have been trained, and recognise that psychology really as a discipline has a lot of interfaces with other areas of social service and public service. It's a great career, and for those who are starting off, I'd wish them well, and I hope that their career's been as satisfying, will be as satisfying as mine's been.